Welcome to another episode of Rising Stories. I'm Corrine Sandifer, and each week I interview an author or a business owner. We chat about how we live our lives in the midst of running a business or writing and promoting a book. I'm so glad that you have joined me in this journey of meeting these women with rising stories. If you are listening while running on the treadmill or folding a load of laundry, thank you so much for spending your time with me. But before we start our interview, I would love it if you would do one thing for me, which is to go to iTunes or your Purple Podcast app on your iPhone and search for Rising Stories. Once you are there, hit review and leave me some stars. Let me know if you are liking this podcast. And by doing this one step, you are helping others locate this podcast in the sea of podcasts that are out there on iTunes. A big thank you to Laurel Staples, who writes, "You can tell Corrine is super passionate about sharing other people's stories and going behind the scenes in what true entrepreneurship is really like. If you're a business owner, this is worth a listen." Thanks so much, Laurel. I really appreciate your review. Today on the show, my guest is Amye Steele. Amye is a business and brand strategist who recently joined forces with another business owner to form a partnership. She talks about how that looks and the three people she follows in the business world. We have a great conversation, and I know you're going to really enjoy this interview with Amye. Here's my conversation with Amye. And you are a business and brand strategist, and you're also a speaker. You were talking about that earlier with me, and I'm really excited to hear more and more about that. So tell me more about what you do.
Well, I basically help mostly females. I work with some men, but mostly females. And I just help them in the startup phase and in the stalled phase of their business, sort of brand themselves. I have some clients that I help sort of reinvent themselves, and then I have some clients that are just starting out. They've never done anything business at all, and they just want some help really strategizing and making a plan of how to move forward with their business. So that's what I do, and I love it.
That's awesome. So when you do So do you actually do, when you say branding, I think about branding, do you actually create do you listen to them and then you go, I think you need to have this logo on your website? Or do you go into logos and colors and things like that? Or do you just say, who do you want to be, or what do you want to do?
Okay. So mainly I do the strategy part, where we talk through what their plan is for their business, what they want to do with their business, how they want to do it. And we just create a plan, a business plan or a business strategy for them. But I do outsource and work with a web designer that very closely, that we talk through, myself and the client will talk through, like, what is it what colors do you love? What do you love about those? Do a Pinterest board. That's like my favorite thing to do, is say, go on Pinterest, search some logos or whatever, and see what you like and make a board. And then we can all kind of look at them and sort of decide what's best for your, the look you're going for and that sort of thing. So I do that, but it's sort of secondary to the fact that I'm always the one that they come to help. I don't know what to do with my life. Help me, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm the one that really helps them get clear. That's kind of the thing that I sort of have been known for, is helping people get really clear on what they're trying to accomplish in their business. So
very, very helpful. Very helpful. Yeah. So tell me, what does that look like for you, like every day? Like, what's a day in the life of Amye? Amye with an E. I love that you have an E at the end of your name.
Oh, thank you. It's very different and unique, and I get lots of misspellings, but it's okay. I love it. So, okay. So a day in the life of Amye. So basically, I was saying before we got on, I was like, I don't know if they're going to want to know a day in the life of me, because I'm super busy right now. But it's just really, I love I guess probably my favorite thing that I do is really working with people. I love the one-on-one interaction. I don't get as much of it as I would like, because I've got a lot of a lot of things going on right now with some other projects I'm working on. But that is my favorite thing. So probably a day in the life of me would look like, having my coffee in the morning and getting up and getting going because I have to have my coffee and caffeinate myself
Hmm,
and
yeah.
um, usually have a couple of client calls, just the, one-on-one. I call it one-on-one mentoring because I really feel like I sort of mentor them through the process of what they're gonna do in their business and that sort of thing. And have a few calls with them. Then I do a lot of content creation, and that's kind of a season. It's sort of ebb and flow in business where you have a lot of times you'll have really heavy content creation where you're creating a lot of content, and then you'll have a season where you're working a lot with your clients or so that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
how that works. But usually I still, even if I'm working a lot with my clients, I'm still creating a lot of content because I just feel like, that's a huge deal. People need more and more information about, how to live in their business and do life and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and when you say content creation, tell me what that means exactly. What's content? Like, are you making like those memes that are encouraging, the motivational memes? Are you creating like an article, or you're just putting out like what does that mean to you?
Okay, so I have, and it kind of leads into kind of how I started, but I have some e-courses, and that's really what I sort of one of the ways that I do, like when I have massive amounts of people that I'm trying to help, and I say massive, if I'm trying to help 20 or 30 or 100 people, then they go through my e-courses because that's the best way for me to sort of help the most amount of people. And so when I say content creation, currently what that means, and I think it can mean a lot of different things, but currently that means creating my e-courses, like the worksheets, the
Gotcha. Yeah.
videos, the videos for
Mm-hmm.
them to watch during the course, all of that kind of stuff. So it's less blogging and that kind of thing, and more about helping them by creating the courses and stuff like that, getting those outlined and the worksheets created and the process, just the whole process for that specific e-course. And I've got one completed and three that are in the works. So
Wow, you are busy. You are busy. So tell me more about, one of the things that I was fascinated about when, after talking with you and kind of checking out your websites and your e courses and all that, was that you have partnered with someone. Um, I think her name is Emma Jane Hunt, and you have partnered with someone with her and to develop. Is this another course that you've developed with her, or just like a whole nother company?
it's actually a whole different company. And so to just kind of tell you how this process worked, I started my brand amyemstill.com about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and in the process, I knew I wanted to educate people and help them process through the business, how to plan out their business and all of that. I knew I wanted to work and do the business and brand strategy thing. Well, probably 4 or 5 months ago, I did a focus group in a group that I have on Facebook. I just said, hey, you guys, I want to know more about network marketing. And that was kind of in direct sales and stuff. If you're involved in that, I wanted to create a kind of an e-course that was geared towards network marketers, direct salespeople, because I've got so many friends that I've seen buy kits that they bought kits for XYZ, network marketing company, and then it just kind of went in their garage or in their closet and they never sold anything or whatever. So I felt like there was a real need for people to be just to be helped in the business side of it, like how to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did the focus group, and a girl that I went to college with at Auburn University, she was in the focus group, and she emailed me or messaged me on Facebook immediately after we got off of the focus group call, and she said, I want us to meet and talk about how we can get together on this and partner because I love this idea, and I'm really passionate about helping educate women and helping educate people in business anyway. So let's talk about partnering. And so we met for coffee at Starbucks, and it was, obviously coffee. Coffee, you gotta have coffee everywhere, right?
Gotta have
So,
coffee.
um,
Yes.
I'm a little addicted. Um, No, we met for coffee, and it was really it was really crazy. We just started talking about everything, and she was sharing her heart, and I was sharing my heart, and we just kind of connected on a lot of things. And so we decided that we wanted to move forward with a partnership, and we decided very early on at the coffee shop that day that we did not want it to just be like her partner and co-author something with me. We really wanted to start an entirely new business. And so by the time we got in our cars, we left, and by the time we got home, we both had decided on the name, and it went from
Wow.
there. It was
So,
crazy fast.
so tell me this, talk me through though the logistics because I'm more on the, I guess, big company merger type stuff and or acquisitions and things like that. So when you are developing a partnership with another person, how do y'all connect on or how do you merge with finances, like who decides, like does she come with some seed money, does she come with some money that she's going to say, okay, well, I've got $1,000, okay, I've got $1,000, and with this is what we're going to invest in this. How does that work? How does that look like? I mean, it doesn't have to be necessarily, you don't need to tell me exactly what you guys do, but maybe just in a roundabout, without figures and
Yeah, sure. So basically, we decided very early on. Well, let me tell you really quick. Emma Jane is a jewelry designer, and so she has her own business, Emma Jane Designs, and she designs jewelry, really high end, beautiful jewelry, and so she has a business totally separate from this business that we have, Hustle and Grace, and so. So very early on, though, because we both do business this way, we're very much against debt, and we just don't want any. We don't want to have debt. We want to be very, very frugal about how we do our finances and that sort of thing. So we basically just decided very early on that we were going to come in 50-50 on seed money,
mm-hmm.
and that we were going to do it as as little as possible to get the ball rolling, and basically, because of the kind of business we have, we've been able to do that and not have to put out a ton of capital out there into the world. Like we haven't had to go, rent a space or redo a space, like contractors come in and completely gut a space or whatever. So
Right.
it's all kind of online, so there's not a lot of capital there. So that's really what we did. We just said 50-50, we're going to come in together and do it 50-50 and with capital, and then we're going to, it's a 50-50 business. We're in the process of talking with an attorney and with an accountant to see the best way to partner, as far as if we need to do a limited liability partnership or what
Mm-hmm.
we need to do kind of out of the gate.
Yeah.
So we're still getting those answers, but that's how we did it. So
And I will offer this quick advice to you and to anybody else who's listening who's thinking about partnerships and or entering in a partner type business is that I think that's very wise that you're going to an attorney and you're seeing your accountant. And I think what I tell my clients now when they're merging or when they are developing with three different entities, three different partners, I say you've got to write out and develop an exit strategy because for whatever reason, I know myself. I had someone when I was had started a business, and we ended up selling the business, but there was an illness and she could not continue. And I wish that we had had some sort of structure in place so that I could have continued the business as I really liked it, but I really did not know if I could carry it and how that looked. And it's best to do it at the very front end so that there's no hard feelings and say, well, I'm just going to do it on my own, or there's no conflict of interest. So that's really smart that y'all are seeing an attorney, but I totally recommend everyone doing some sort of exit strategy. Like, I'll buy you out if you don't want to be in it, or you can't leave until this and this is in place. And then if you do, then you can't start another something. Like we had that in our clause when we sold it. We offered that to our buyer we said we promise that we won't, you won't have any competition from us. Where it's not like we're going to sell you this business and then go and start another one that's exactly like it with a different name and be in
Yeah.
competition with you. So all that is really good, solid structure so that you don't end up getting burned or losing a friendship or whatever. And good thing my friendship with my former partner did not wasn't tainted, and just it really was a good ending. But I wish it could have looked differently, which is
Yeah.
our mistake. But we I highly recommend that. So tell me, what's it like? Do you like having a partner versus just doing something on your own? What are the pros and cons to that?
Okay, so here's a little tidbit about Amy. I am a 100% team player. Like I love, 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 love partnering.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that my personality really thrives in being able to partner and sit down and like hash out what we're gonna do and like talk about like what it's gonna be like. And I love that aspect. And Emma Jane and I have known each other for about 10 or 12 years. So we've known each other for a little while and we just sort of stayed in touch through Facebook and different things. And so we have a really, really good working relationship, and we just sort of have. She has a studio that she works out of to, do her design, her jewelry design, and so we'll meet there, and we just sort of talk about what we're going to do and stuff. And I love that. That's like one of my favorite things. So
Mm-hmm.
even
That
in
is
my
fun.
Yes, and even in my Amy Still website and stuff, I still call. I have like three or four people that I call. I call them the queen of brainstorm, and so I'll call my friends, and I'm like, okay, I need you to be the queen of brainstorm today, and let's brainstorm and think through some of these things that I'm working on, and so I love teamwork and team and playing with the team aspect and stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, I agree. I love that too. I like both. I mean, I enjoy sort of being in the driver's seat, but I also like being in the passenger seat with a group of people and just kind of going along and doing what I do best so that other people can do what they do best. That part I really really love. So,
Yeah.
tell me, what is your favorite business app?
Okay, this is gonna be for those people that love to post on social media. This is hands down my favorite app to use to create like the memes and the things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Type-O-Rama. It's Typoramo. So Type-O-Rama, and it's super, super easy, very, very easy to use, user friendly, and I love it. I can just go in, and if I have a quote I want to, quote or anything like that. So I don't know if that's really a business app, but it's one I
No,
use.
I think it's great. Yeah, and you
So,
know what? Early on, gosh, this must have been whenever they started creating them. Someone told me about that, and I downloaded it on my phone. And even if you just are starting out, this is a great investment. I mean, there are some free ones, but I suggest the free ones always have those little watermarks, their own little
mhm.
I forget what they're called. They're not watermarks, but kind of their own advertising on there.
Yeah.
I totally suggest it's like paying the $2.99 to iTunes and getting that taken off so that you can put your own watermark. By Amy Steele, by Corinne Sandifer. But I love that. Yeah, I love those. Those are fun to create.
I
Yeah.
love it, and I definitely did buy the 2.99, and I have my own watermark on it, and I mean it's just great to be able to post on Instagram, to be able to post on Facebook or in my group, my Facebook group that I have. I just love to be able to post little encouragements or whatever, and but at the same time, I was spending extreme amounts of time on other applications on my computer doing
Mm.
it, and so when I found Type-O-Rama, it was like, wow, this is genius because it can save me so much time. I can go in, type in what I want to do, type, and then click, publish, and it's
Yeah.
published. And I'm once and done. I'm done.
Shoots it
So
out. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I love anything that saves time and effort, because our time is limited, and um, yeah, that's a great app. What about what is the best business advice you ever got?
I don't really know if I got this business advice or if this is just something that I've thought kind of a lot over my years in business, but so I can't really give props to anybody that gave me this advice, but this is one thing that I would say as I give this advice a lot, and I use this advice a lot in my business, and that is I say have a plan and be flexible. And so that's kind of
Very
my
true.
business mantra. It's like I think that a lot of times people, and that's one of the reasons why I started doing what I do is because I feel like that people, they don't really lay the foundation that they need to lay for a really, really successful business. And so because they don't lay the foundation, they can't be successful because everything starts to sort of fall apart like midstream, you know? And then the whole thing about being flexible, I think, have that plan so you always know where you're supposed to be. And then if you go back, you can get off, be flexible. That's the be flexible part. You kind of get off and go about doing something over here, but then you get back on track. And I think that is key because if you have the plan, you always know where you're supposed to be, but you always know that you can be flexible and kind of lean into whatever, maybe your creativity or whatever that's going on right then in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I love that. That's a great piece of advice. I love the be flexible part because things do ebb and flow and things do kind of
yeah,
sometimes you get a wrench thrown in there and it's like, oh gosh, or if 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 your business is online, I mean, you can't help when things go wrong uh,
right.
as far as the technical part of it all. So that's great.
It's so
Well,
true.
what three things are you absolutely loving? And I already know one because we just talked about it like crazy. But tell me, what are three things that you absolutely love?
Okay, so two of them are drinks. So I have to first of all say coffee. I am pretty much like addicted to coffee. Not really. I mean, I limit myself to like 2 cups a day, but I love my coffee. I have to have my coffee and I like it like a dessert. Like I want to have the all the fun creamers and all the, all my little stevia and all
So
that
when you
stuff.
go to Starbucks, what do you order? Like that throws me off. See, I'm not a coffee drinker, and so like the other one day, well, I had a very close friend of mine, and she lost her son, and that was really sad. And I was trying to help her out, and I was like, I wanted to take her. I knew she liked coffee, so I wanted to take her some Starbucks, and then I realized I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Like I don't even know what she would like. So I had to call like one of her best friends, and I said, I need you to tell me exactly what to order. Like I don't know what the other day I was in there. I don't even know what size means. I mean, like at Starbucks, I walk in and I'm like, it was my birthday one, so I got a freebie, and I was like, I like their passion tea lemonades, and I was like, I'll have a big, a tall or whatever. I can't even remember what I ordered, and I was like, it's the little one. I wanted the big one. I don't even know what it's called. But anyway, I had to call my friend and I said, tell me exactly what she wants, so that. And she was like, oh, well, just get da da da, just get a latte. And I was like, no, you have to tell me exactly, like word for word. So, so tell me what your order is at Starbucks. What do
Okay,
you
so I'm
order?
going to tell you what my order is, and I'm going to tell you a quick little funny story. So I used to go in years ago to Starbucks, and I would order my drink, and I would say, because this was back before they came out with like this skinny, like you could say skinny, and that meant you got all the skinny stuff. So I would go in and I would say, I want a venti, non-fat, sugar-free hazelnut latte with 2 Splendas and no foam, and it was like this big long rattling off
Yeah.
of my stuff. Well, now they have it where you can say skinny and you get all the skinny stuff. And so you don't have to say all the non fat and sugar free and all of that. So I order a skinny hazelnut latte, usually venti, and I always order it with no foam. I'll be like, I want triple no foam. And they start laughing at me because I'm like, really, triple no foam, please.
What does that mean? Triple no foam. I mean, no foam
So
should be no
it's
foam.
it's kind of a joke because they always let some of that foam come to the top and it's like an inch and a half of the drink is actually foam and I'm just not a foam girl. I really got to have just I want the coffee. I want the goodness, and so
Mm-hmm.
I don't for the foam. So I always joke with them about, okay, triple no foam today, and they laugh. But but yeah, they actually when I lived in St. Louis for a couple of years, and when I lived there, I had this one Starbucks that I would go through the drive-through, and they like knew me by name. I could pull up and say, "It's Amy," and they would be like, "Oh my gosh, Miss Amy, come on around. We'll
We
have your drink
gotcha.
ready."
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, they
So
do that
that's
to my
addicting.
husband. He's like that. He'll walk in, sit down. They sometimes bring it to his chair.
That's so
He's
funny. I
totally
love
like
it.
obsessed with it. Okay, what's number two?
Okay, so number two is also a drink, and it is LaCroix. And I'm addicted to the passion fruit LaCroix. I love it. It is so good. And I just started, I kind of just found it. I don't know how
Yes.
long they've been making it, but I've just found it like in this year,
Me
probably.
too. Me
So
too.
I don't know how long they've been making it, but it
I,
is goodness.
I
It
think
is
it's
good.
been out a long time, but I think they have just like upped their flavors. And have you
Wow.
seen that Dasani's onto it now? Like
Yes.
they're doing flavors too. But I have just, I just discovered it, and of course we're both friends of, or not friends. We're friends with Jen Hatmaker. We kind of
Yes,
are.
we are friend. We kind of are. We're kind of best
In
friends with
our
her.
minds, we are friends with
Right.
Jen Hatmaker.
Yes, in our heads. Yeah.
And she mentioned LaCroix, and I was like, "Pff." And then she talked about putting uh, a spritzer of like lime or something in it, in one of them. I can't remember which one she picked. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to try it one more time, and I'm going to try it with the lime. Maybe the lime or the lemon kind of adds to it. Because I remember drinking one years ago and thinking, that is the worst thing I've ever tasted. So then I tried it with the lime. Well, then I started experimenting and trying other flavors. And okay, so my favorites are the passion fruit, which I'm
Oh, yeah.
so like, just like you love the passion fruit. I just discovered the
Mhm.
passion fruit. And have you
So,
tried the pear peach or peach
yes,
pear?
that is my second favorite.
Those are my two favorites.
We're LaCroix twinsies for
Yep,
sure because
we
I
are.
love it.
We
So good.
are. We are twinsies. We're birthday twinsies, and we're LaCroix twinsies.
Yes,
That's
yes, yes.
awesome. All right, what's number three?
Okay, so number three is my suitcase. I am
Oh.
really loving being able to travel these days.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm loving just collaborating with people kind of all over the country and just being able to pack up my suitcase and get on the road and go. And so I probably will not always love my suitcase. There will be a day where I'm like, okay, it's time to slow down a little bit. But right now, I'm loving being able to just kind of throw some things in the suitcase and take off and be on the road with colleagues or whatever. So it's
Yeah.
fun.
And do you have a certain suitcase? Like, is it just like one of those rolling things? Is it a certain brand or?
It's not a certain brand, but I do prefer the ones that roll on all four, like have
On
four
all fours.
rollers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fours. So I'm not having to try to, lug it around and like try to, move it around where it's kind of awkward or whatever. Especially when you're traveling through the airport at high speeds when you're when
Yeah.
you're trying to. And I fly a lot out of Atlanta, and so that airport is massive, and so you
Right.
have to be on your game when you're yeah, I have been known to run through the airport with my backpack on and like just take off running trying to get to my plane.
And
So
are you a good packer? Like, do you do that roll thing
I
where you
do.
roll your clothes?
I roll my clothes and I also like when I have jewelry that go with an outfit, if
Mm-hmm.
it's rollable, if it's not going to make it mess it up if I roll it, then I will roll up my jewelry with the shirt I'm going to wear or
That's a
something.
great
So
idea.
tip for you. That's
That's a
right.
great
Exactly. I love
idea.
it. I think I saw someone do that on something one day. I saw a TV show and they were doing that and I was like, that is brilliant. I mean, you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about losing your jewelry. And so yeah, that's what I do.
Well, I have to say that I was looking on Pinterest and they about packing. I can't remember where I was going a couple months ago, and it had these little zipper bags, like they're like square, like I think they're called like compartment packing or something about packing.
Hmm.
And I saw a girl on Instagram a video, and she was packing her unmentionables in there, and I was like, "Ah, what a brilliant idea!" Because then it's all packed in one little. So it was like in a big size makeup bag, and then
Yeah.
you have it all in the same place, and you know where it is, and it's not all just like flying everywhere when you unpack.
Yep.
So I was like,
Yep.
oh, I'm gonna have
Love
to
it.
do that. So
Mhm.
I love to try to pack it where there's not. clutter because I just can't work with clutter. So
Me either. I can't. Yeah, I'm with you.
yeah. So what are you reading these days? Do you have a book by your nightstand?
I do, and I'm going to tell you, this book is not a business book. But I will say this is my caveat. I will say that I read a lot of John Maxwell, who has about a bazillion books. So I read a lot of John Maxwell on leadership and things like that. A lot of Dave Ramsey stuff, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Michael Hyatt stuff. But who I am currently reading, and I am just in love with her. I mean, truly. I don't know. You may have heard of her. I'm not sure, but her name is. Let's see. I'm going to pull. It's the book that I'm reading. It is called because it's got a long title. Okay, her name is Sophie Hudson, and she writes. Her This book is really like an essay of sorts, and so it's called "A Little Salty to Cut the Sweet: Southern Stories of Faith, Family, and 15 Pounds of Bacon."
That
And
sounds so fun.
okay, I have to tell you why I read this because I do read a ton of business stuff. And so it's like when I get a chance to read something that's just going to like feed my soul and it's going to just be like I need my coffee and my comfy blanket and I can just curl up and read something
Mm-hmm.
fun, funny. And honestly, this book has been one of the books I'm a big reader. And so this book, though, I will say has been one of the books where I have been able to literally laugh out loud. Like it is the most hilarious book at times. And then also I have found myself literally crying tears, like just weeping
Oh,
over
wow. That sounds good.
things that she says. It's so good. And it is all about her life and her family and her faith. And it's just, and 15 pounds of bacon. She does
That's
tell a story about.
hilarious.
So she is so fun, and she actually has a new book that just came out that I'm really actually dying to read. That's called Giddy Up, Eunice, and yeah. So here's the funny story. It's called Giddy Up, Eunice because
That's
women
hilarious.
need each other, and
Yes.
so it's such a good thing. So I'm really excited to read that one. But she actually lives in Birmingham, Alabama, and so
Oh, wow.
I currently live in Alabama too. So I'm kind of like, I wonder if there's a way for me to like meet her. She just seems so much fun, and like we would be instant best friends. So
Yes. You could help
yes,
her with her branding.
yes. Oh, I need help with her branding. She's really doing a good thing. She's really doing a good thing. So she's probably one of my favorite kind of southern authors
I
and
love
just authors in general. She's fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love Southern authors. I can't remember the name of this one book, but there was something about Southern girls. I'll have to try to look it up and then I'll post it on the show notes. But it just
Yeah.
covered like she was like she just killed them with kindness. I mean, she just is super sweet and she was talking about how Southern girls do things and Southern girls how they work and etiquette in the workplace, Southern
Yeah.
girls etiquette in the workplace. It was hilarious. I'll have to look it up because it's been so long since I've read it, but it was one of my favorites. It reminds me of this one. I'm definitely going to get that maybe for a beach read or something.
Yes, that's the thing. It's very light reading, but at the same time, there are some really great things in there that are just going to touch your heart and they'll bless you. It's really, really good.
I love this conversation with Amy. She is such a great business mind, and knowing her personally, I can tell you that she is genuine and wonderful to work with. Amy is giving away a freebie for our listeners. She has developed a 20-minute confidence quiz to assess where your confidence levels are concerning your business. You can find this and all other information about the show on the website page called Rising Stories Podcast. It's under CorrineSandiford.com. It holds all of the show notes, all the book information, and everything else. And if you order from these places that I post on there, it really does help keep Rising Stories alive. So go there if you liked a book that you've heard on this show. Go to my page and click on the Amazon link, and we get a little bit of a kickback from that link, and it helps keep Rising Stories alive. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, I hope you will keep writing and doing your own story.